Been disappearing while he's here on the Family Talk Show, but today he decides to go out and do an assessment of the cows and how much milk they produce. So he's out there in Barara, the land of milk and honey, trying to do an assessment. But we are here. The Family Talk Show is here. My name is Hassan, and the pastor, the big pastor, is also here. So it's going to be the two of us talking family. And this week, the topic is something that you have really been looking out for and asking us about it. We are going to be talking, what is the difference between leading a family and heading a family? That's the discussion here. And then by the end of the show, we expect that you could have picked something out of it and the best practice that will take you forward with your family value systems. Pastor, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hassan. I think it's right for me to say Happy New Year.
Why? Why Happy New Year?
I'm not sure whether we've met this year.
We have met online.
We've met online, yes. You used to do chicken. I don't know whether you still do chicken.
Yes.
Because now that you've said who has gone to milk cows, which I don't know whether he's going to milk, but all I know, he went to strengthen his family, because it's one thing to talk about family, and it's another thing to practice what we're talking about. Yes, husbands, you need long time with your wives. I know sometimes men get married, then they spend more time outside than with their wives. So I'm glad. Salute to you, Eddie, and your queen, Joyce. I'm sure she's making you happy, and getting some good units there. But I know one of the things that Eddie keeps saying, yes, we are live on HTV, not HTV, on YouTube, live on
on Facebook. Yes.
All right. If you don't find us there, you know. He went with the rhyme.
No, we are streaming live on Facebook, House of Talent Uganda on Facebook, and on YouTube, House of Talent Uganda. You can also find us on Twitter at HTV1 on Twitter, HTV1 Uganda on Twitter. This is the Family Talk Show. Pastor, how was the week?
The week brings me to one of the points I wanted to say is we are sad that a powerful leader or head of state, and maybe that will run into our
I don't want to say head of state.
Yes, John Pombe Magufuli. He had a powerful name of Pombe, which definitely excited the Tanzanians. But we want to extend our condolences to our families, especially in Tanzania. We do extend our sorry about the loss of your dear leader, who definitely has set a challenge for all our leaders here, also a challenge for us. Because one of the questions I ask myself is, if I happen to go to heaven, will my family cry real tears or these professional tears, which they are supposed to, or they will be excited and say, it's gone, let life begin.
Celebrations.
So if you ask me how my week was, it's been a week of contemplation. Also following on the discussion that has been happening. Am I a family head? Am I a family leader?
So lots of things to think about. My week was, of course, sad. I just tweeted one word, Pombe. That's all I tweeted. Because for me, like you said, that was the powerful icon. Pombe, just the word Pombe. That's what I tweeted. And on Wednesday, when he was laid to rest, it was a sad moment for me. I just don't know why, but I felt very low that day. Of course, reading a lot of literature of the things he has been able to do in such a short time. Then I started to say we need to redefine leadership. For me, that's what comes to my mind. We need to redefine leadership. But also, as the week ended, the news that the Traffic and Road Safety Act is going to be revised to include an old tax. They're bringing back an old tax called road license. And I kept wondering, okay, one of the reasons why the tax was removed because they wanted more indirect taxes on fuel. That they would make more money on fuel. Now they're bringing back the same old tax. So will the fuel tax go away?
No. It won't go away, and the fuel tax will continue. Well, they said tax whoever is driving. Of course, there are other units of people that were we are going to benefit from, those who are using generators and the rest. And now that electricity is running, so less fuel I think is going, so we need to go back to, and our roads are dying. And you see, you guys have been saying the roads in Tanzania are well paved, the ones in Kivuli are not paved. So why aren't they paved? We stopped paying taxes for fixing the roads. Yes, but I think we should be working on making more money.
For me, it's going to be a big debate on especially double taxation on the same unit. But,
but those debates, are they debates? to me, what I really want, is the president to sign out the bill on parliament, not parliament, NSSF. Yeah, so that what we've been saving for we get to eat.
Hopefully, the president will accept to sign midterm access because NSSF is a big resource for running.
Yeah, but they're not even talking about midterm. That's late term. The people they're talking about are not in their mid.
It's late.
Yes, it's late term access.
Maybe the journalists, the media coined the term midterm because it never existed.
Okay.
It was only at the end of retirement. That's when you'd get money. So now they call it midterm. Okay. To dive into the show today, we are talking about the difference between leading a family and heading a family. And Pastor, I will start with you. How do you understand these two words, leading and heading a family?
Heading. Okay. I think we need to get this context right, because I think sometimes where we go wrong is we forget to understand that family is organic in nature, but also is, what do I call it? Not mechanic, because it's mechanic, but it's an institution. Family is an institution that must be recognized legally and also morally. And so the functions of an institution. And so when you talk about leadership and headship, I'm thinking we're talking in terms of, yes, they ought to be somebody who takes decisions or who is held accountable for the decisions made in that family. And then they also ought to be leadership. And so when we talk about leadership and headship, we may define definition, but I think there ought to be somebody who is the go-to person in every family. Traditionally, it's the father or the mother, no, not the mother, the father who is second in command is the mother, then the firstborn, and then we go on to the bottom. It's assumed that the lastborns, those ones, unless they've cleared the others. So, but leadership, again, like you said, has to do with who is giving vision and direction. That's my understanding. And some people talk about leadership, who has the power and who has the influence. I think leadership has to do with who influences, headship has to do with who has the power. Sounds very theoretical, very classical, but I think we need to first get back. Every family needs a leader. Yes, so again, what do we mean by family? Again, the days we live in, there's the, what's the technical term NSSF says? There's the immediate family, and for us, immediate family was father, mother, husband, wife, and children, aunties and uncles. But then the English people defined it to mean your husband and wife and children, biological or legal. This, my brother grew up with me, that is not your immediate family. So they will not get insurance, they will not get any benefits attached to them in the whole process. So I think that's why the mix up now
the begins. Selfish definition.
Yes.
We would say a selfish definition. Headship for me, when you get to understand head of a family, because the context now becomes religious. Okay? When religion say that the head of a family, that's where we find that word, head of a family. We also find that word from people who do the census. Because when they come to us, they say, who is the head of the household? That's what they tell us. Okay? So, in the way the word head of a family is used, comes with tasks. It's about tasks. And those tasks are about, one, financial responsibility, problem solving, and then giving advice. So somebody who is responsible for those tasks was often referred to as the head of a family. But again, what family are we talking about? Like you have been saying, there's that nuclear one that
you have the right one.
Yeah, the nuclear family, that small one. Okay, and then there's the context of family. You often hear people say, "My family." My wife's family. My husband's family. Then what does that mean? What do they mean now?
There has been no assimilation. But there's something I think I want us to clarify, because when you say head of the family has to do with the religious bias, I think it has to do with us defining what is the source or foundation of family. Yes, because again, in the world we live in now, there are many sources these days, all right? So, and I think family has become a battleground. Who defines family? In others, who creates family? And so when we talk about a head of the family, because again, because of the trouble in the world, we have child-headed family, single mother-headed family, we have single father-headed family, then I think no headed family. Those ones are free to all. They're on the street, okay? Because there are also those families that are formed out of circumstances where you have the ringleader as the head. And so again, you raise an issue where the head, you talked about roles, but I think also has to do with authority, all right? Because even when you talk about head of state, some are saying, does he have the authority?
The power.
Or he just has the power? There's a difference between authority and power. Okay? The one with authority has been voted in, has been sworn in, and people have said this is our person. All right? But the other side to it is that he may have gotten all the vote, all the swearing in, like I think Kibaki sworn in quickly, so that Odinga doesn't overtake him, all right? And so they've said, and people are funny, we have the president of the people, then the president of the state, confusing things. But unfortunately, they've also come in family, where you have the head who is the man, and then the leader who is the woman. So
it gets confusion. Most times when people use the word head of family, it's often attached to a male head. Okay, and that's where the task responsibilities and that's how people understand it. That this head of a family has specific tasks that is expected to do. So that's what makes him head of a family. But there's been a lot of studies going on, especially around this concept, head of a family. Should it be head of a family? Should it be leader of a family? Because like you said, leadership is about guidance. Leadership is about making sure that we mobilize each other and achieve the set goals. That in this case, family value systems. What value systems do we set up? And then you need a leader to make sure that we achieve that. So it's quite depending on who is believing what. But the issue of family power and decision making also now comes in. Like you have been saying, who is the leader? Who is the head? The head, often male with family power and decision making, but again times have changed, okay, and puts everything into rethinking again. And this is a concept that has been researched on very, very low. Head of a family. No one goes out there to do, how do people understand head of a family and leadership of a family?
But to me, I think the confusion has been brought by outside researchers, with all due respect, but there is a hideous agenda, because some things were definitely obvious, all right, and the systems were in place, but we've twisted them. It was obvious, if Joshua dies, somebody will take over. There's a heir, and the duties of the heir are clearly stated, all right, and the way the family functions, if the father or the husband is not there, it's automatic the wife takes over. All right? And taking over as in will lead. Like if we are flying a plane, when the pilot dies, the co-pilot takes over.
Exactly.
It's not something that is discussed. All right? It's obvious. Just like TAP in Tanzania, president dead, vice president. Whether she's a woman, whether you voted for her, whether... No, she is the president for the next 4 years. Then she can campaign, not for re-election, but for election. Because for her, they do just open open for her. So, but we started confusing fine because of matters of wealth, and issues of land. Property. So you find women who have lifted up this family, brought wealth to it, added value to it. Now people begin trying to undermine them, throw them out so that they can take over what this family has raised. And then there's a question of that guy was the heir, should now the woman take over? That's why you find people say, my husband's family, my family, my son's family, because we are so divided. But I think we need to get back to say, okay, what is the foundation of family? All right? If God is the foundation of family, then we ought to do business of the family and uphold the institution of family according to the design of God. But you see, I think we are trying to throw out. You had people swear in and they didn't say amen, they said are women. Because they feel now, when you say a man, you're over lifting men. When you say a women, you're more educated. And to me, I think that's total absolute nonsense.
Then we just say Amina.
But they are coming for that.
Okay, this
unless
is
you say Amina.
This Amina is a name.
Yes. Unless you change Amina to Amina, you're going to have trouble. You wait. I'm not a prophet.
This is the Family Talk Show. It's myself, Hassan Sekajolo, and Pastor Joshua Mugabe. We're discussing this not so much looked at concept of heading a family and leading a family. That's what we're discussing. We want you to find out at the end of the show, are you heading your family? Are you leading your family? More of that is coming into the show. But just before we go for a break, Pastor, what is out there in Ugandan families? Are Ugandan families with heads of families, or Ugandan families have leaders of families?
Wow. Tough question. Of course, people say, what research do you have? I have no research. I just have feelings and observation. Because unfortunately, you find that many of us grew up without our fathers, and we grew with our mothers. Again, because of HIV, because of war, because of abduction and disappearances, things have changed. That now women must rise up to be both heads and leaders. In some families, both the eldest boy must rise up to be that. And so families are going through a challenge, all right? Because some have heads, but no leadership. And I think we talked about that here one time. So we need to get back and say, families need leadership and need a head. And a leading head, I would say.
For me, when I look at, of course, talking to so many people and the so many trainings that I do, around positive parenting work, my observation, again, it's an observation, has been that many of the Ugandan families, many of the families are broadened into Africa, actually have heads of family. However, the trends are changing with the expansion of the middle class. Trends are changing for people to start to understand the value of leadership, just leading the family. I will not say that the change is massive. No, it's on a very small scale. Because even middle class families have real big issues around managing themselves. Real big issues.
Talk about the Birmingham Palace.
Exactly. So for me, the change is slow, but it's purposeful for people to understand, do I choose to be a head of a family, or I choose to lead the family. Because this is a decision we need to make, and later we shall discuss what are the advantages of leading and what are the advantages of heading. But also the other way around, what do you miss if you choose to be a head of a family? And what do you gain if you choose to be a leader of the family? And just on Friday, we had this annual members meeting for the Men Engaged Fraternity, over 60 organizations. We were in this meeting and we had a chance to listen in to research from the AfriChild Center. They're doing a lot of research around family, children and parenting. So they did this research on the impact of fathers as active and positive and present members of the family. What is the impact? Fathers, well, the research showed that actually the community, the young children that were interviewed and the wives and the women were actually pointing to head. Because, for example, the children, their understanding of an active father is being able to pay school fees for us. That's how they understand it. That they must be able to pay school fees for us. They must be there to make sure that we have a mattress. So it's about tasks, it's about provision. That's how the children were understanding it. And then the wives, the women were understanding it also differently. Because they say for us, an active, positive and present father is someone who is there all the time at home so that the children see he's around. So you see? So it keeps shifting. Then for me that pointed out that many of the Ugandan families just have heads of family. They have heads of families. In that research, the women who are doing the things the children thought are supposed to be done by the father, the children called them fathers. So the research brought a concept of women fathers. Because the children saw them as the ones doing the things they think a father should do. So they were calling them, that is our father.
Picking coffee berries.
Yes, that is our father.
Fetching water.
Yes. So widely out there, Ugandan families have heads of family. Just heads of families. When we talk about whether they are present or what, that's another matter. But they just have heads of families. And today we are discussing head or lead. What works for us? What is good to make sure that we're building family value systems? Because if we don't have family value systems, we get problems at the top. This country and the whole world is suffering from dishonesty. And where do we build dishonesty from? We build honesty from home.
Beautiful.
And it's the value systems at home that build the honesty. Today, you can't employ people and you make big profit.
You can't employ your own family and be profitable.
You see?
Yes.
Because people are dishonest. They will steal from you, they will do that, they will manipulate this, manipulate that.
Let's do a break, I believe.
We just have to go into a break, and when we come back from the break, we're going to discuss which is which, what is good, leading or heading a family. We'll be right back.
been in Uganda for very many years, and I believe Uganda is the place anybody should aspire to live in. We have good weather, we have abundance of food, we have abundance of employment as long as you look out for the right things. But Uganda has been hit in recent times with the stigma of greed, and it shows in everything that we read in the newspapers, it shows on television, it shows even when you're sitting down with people just trying to make ends meet. Everybody wants to bite off a piece that's bigger than what they deserve. That is Uganda's major problem in my eyes. If only we could curb the greed, if only we could share out that pie equally and of course responsibly, then we will be the best country on the planet. In the next 5 years, I really wish and hope that Ugandans can look at the bigger picture, can look at Uganda as a country, can look at their neighbors, their friends, and see that everybody needs equal opportunity. Because in the next 5 years, I don't want people to be calling me up saying, please, can you find me a job? I want people to be calling me up and saying, would you like to come and work with me? That is what I'd like to see. In the next 50 years, I don't want to see my child suffering. I want to see him prosperous. I want to see him with a good wife, with children, with a family of his own, living the dream. That's what I would like to see in Uganda. That's my honest opinion. And I'm Mark Kaheru. I'm Ugandan. What do you say?
Welcome back from the break. This is the Family Talk Show. Welcome back from the break. This is the Family Talk Show on House of Talent Television. House of Talent Uganda on Facebook. You can find us there, like the page and watch all our programming. The Family Talk Show comes to you live from our studios on Plot 45 Bukoto Street, where we are right now giving you the discussion on today's topic, the difference between leading a family and heading a family, which way to go for building family value systems. That's our discussion today. And just before the break, we were talking about what is out there, what is the common practice in Uganda. Thank you for those who are following us on our Facebook page. Jemima Okwi, you are watching in from Buwate. Eddie Okila is watching in from Holiday. Enjoy the holiday and have the best of it, and don't come back here and say you really did not have a holiday. Make sure you come back with good stories from the holiday. Eddie Okila. Pastor,
yeah.
What are the advantages for leading a family?
Yeah.
And what are the disadvantages?
Okay. Like I said in the beginning, the family is both organic but also institutional. Yes, organic organization. I think organization is better. So you can have headship because yes, it's natural, it's definite, people look up to you, and yeah, you're there, but taking people nowhere. But for every organization to win, it must have direction.
Yeah.
And I think leadership is defined by Maxwell as influence. Another guy that helped me understand leadership more, he said, leadership is a discipline of exerting special influence within a group to lead it towards goals of beneficial permanence. And so there is a degree to which you exert influence and cause people to move towards goals that benefit them together, and those benefits or the result of that benefits all of them. And so that's why I would think when there is leadership, the question of who pays school fees, where do we stay, do we have rent, do we have food, do we have clothing, are we happy together, and naturally met, because the leader, whoever occupies that position, is thinking and driving us towards that. We raise children not like we raise puppies, because I know some puppies are trained, some puppies are not trained, but a trained dog has more benefits than a naturally growing puppy. They could be the same breed, German Shepherds. So the trained German Shepherd will bring them. So we want our family to harness the resources to make sure we get where we want to go. Where there's leadership, there's no question of whose money are we using. All the money is ours to bring us to the point of where we need to be, so that we can grow. We make sure that our land titles are in our names, our catalog books are in our names, so that nothing can go wrong. The children have the right names, they know who they are connected to. I think that is what leadership is about. But headship can simply be functional. You have no influence, things happen. Maybe you're only left to say, okay, these are the clan names from which you choose. This is where we bury, and this is how we recite our clan recital.
Slogan.
Yes. So, but you want your family to go beyond that. What language, what practices, what values, what kind. And I know in the past there used to be the question of mwana wani, whose child, because we're saying where there's proper headship and leadership, that family is definitely going to be humane, I would say. Yeah.
For me, the issue of leadership, I think, brings in an element of teamwork.
Yeah.
When you choose to lead a family, it will bring in teamwork. One of the problems we are suffering, and we have said it before on the show, raising children who are not team members. They're siblings, but not team members. That affects the progress of the family. Because everybody will think that they have to work out things on their own. Then they end up doing small projects, thinking they're moving forward. But their progress is too small because they're isolated. But when we do leadership in a family, we're bringing everybody together to participate together, to be able to rise together. And for me, that's what I see as a very, very strong component of choosing to lead a family. Like you said, everything is for all of us. Everybody gains personal responsibility of everything that is within the family. But there are also disadvantages of leadership, especially when you have dominant characters. The dominant characters in leadership will usurp everything by themselves. So I think care needs to be taken to identify the dominant characters and to ensure that they don't override others. Otherwise, you get problems. That's, for me, that's one of the side effects for leadership. Is that the dominant people will assume and take over, and other people will think that if we don't hear from him, we don't have the prerogative to make a decision.
Wow, you are tickling my mind. Sometimes, again, the challenges come in because, like I need to say this, that where there's leadership, the roles must be clearly defined. All right? The boundaries must also be clearly defined, set. So that you are not a leader because you are the chief financial of what is happening there. Okay? You are not the leader because you have the greatest age. Okay? You're not the leader because you're most highly educated. But again, you are the leader because you are influencing in the right direction. And by the way, you can be a leader without having a position. And I think that's something you should be ready for. You're not aspiring for the position. You want to be able to say, okay, as a family, this is where we need to go. Let the head lead. So that's why, again, to resolve that, it was clear right from the beginning, let the man be the head. Okay? It doesn't necessarily mean he has all the money, he has all the power, he has all the decisions. No, but for purposes of saying, when we've decided whose word will we take to hold this family accountable, the head of the family will be held accountable. Should we count the people? Should we name the people? Should we accept? Should we expel? The head has that function, but doesn't mean he has everything. All right? So I think if we can clarify that, it will help. The head
is just a point of contact.
Yes, and plays a function that will allow leadership to flourish. To me, that's my view.
The argument has also been that when we say head of a family is a man, are we saying that all the tasks and the responsibilities that come with that position and the authority that comes with that position cannot be held by women. And indeed, women have gone ahead to disprove us.
So, and I think that's where the challenge or the problem lies. To me, I think, of course, in Uganda especially, we are fully spoiled to think that leadership is falling into things so that you can eat. Okay? You become a heir, you think that now gives you right to sell all
everything,
all the land. That's not what we are talking about. All right? We're talking about the representative voice that says, this family has agreed, okay, that this and this is going to happen. All right? This is like when I sign checks, it doesn't mean I own all the money in my institution. No, it means that I have been given the permission to release that money on behalf of the institution. And so if we can understand that, it will help. So even when major decisions are made in a family, all right, how do we name the children? All right? It's not that the father has said or the grandfather has said, it's what we've agreed to, because the child needs a name for purposes of identity. So you don't just say, me, I want my son to be called Nalulunji, okay, because I have the money, I'm the one who went to the labor ward. No, that will only cause more confusion. So let there be proper headship to represent the institution, all right? It's key. But the process of how decisions are reached upon should be a process that involves everybody.
And that's what leadership is about. In like you say, in the instances of headship, people assume authority and control by themselves.
Because that's wrong.
Because they say, I am the head. I have all the power. I have all the decision making. So I decide. You see?
You have the responsibility. And again, that's why, again, in the Christian faith, it says, the greatest among you shall be the servant, not the commandant, but the one who serves the most. You listen to the needs of the people, you understand what they desire, and you make sure that what they need is addressed. That's true leadership. That's true headship. The head does not take you to a fire. All right? Although it's the feet that will draw you there. But the head takes a decision and says, you know what? That direction we're going to get destroyed. There's an escape route here. There is a need to back up. And so it issues a command to the feet and they turn round.
Just before the break, we were talking about how ownership of property, especially for heirs, twists and turns the whole notion of head of a family. Because in this instance, if it is a heir, the heir assumes head of what family now? You see? It means there are lots of people that you are responsible for. And you're more like a trustee. For me, the concept of heir is more of a trustee. And if it is more of a trustee, then that's why some families now, you find that they say, all my children are my heir. Some people are doing that. That all of them will be heirs. It's upon them to choose who will lead.
But there's also a weakness there in terms of then the more crafty of the child will take over. All right? That lack of clarity sometimes opens room for wrangles. That's why you find so and so has died, then the wife is suddenly hiding land titles and the rest and shutting down things. And so you get buried, but there's also shame in the house. That's why, again, legally we encourage, write a will so that there's clear leadership.
Pastor, I write the will and
that
say
all my children are, that
I name them by name and say all of these.
We have, okay. Again, the institution things, if there are 7 heads, that's a beast. And the book of Revelation tells us beasts are rising with the head of a horse, the head of one. You don't want your family to become that disconfigured. It ought to be clear. Like again, when you're going to war, you don't want a spear that has 3 heads. It won't kill anything. You won't go where you, but the more pointed, the sharper. That's why they even talk about laser guided missiles, because they hit the point. And the point is, for our families, we want to continue successfully. All right? Our resources are working for the good of the family, not for an individual. So that's why we are saying that it should be clear who is the head, who casts the tiebreaker. Okay, because sometimes even the fights are not that so and so is wrong and this one is wrong. There are times when both of you are right. Which right are you taking? And that's why we're asking people, where is the better right? Because we may have our rights, but where is the right that is more beneficial to both of us? And we say, I'm the man. And I usually tell guys, by the time you are saying I am the man, it usually means that you've been undermined and many things have gone. So you need to remind people, I'm the man. No, your place as a man should be self-explanatory. You don't have to say, I'm the man. I'm the one to take the decision. That means you lost it already, because who's telling you a woman?
So there's a comment here online, and it is, if the man cannot lead us, and the woman steps in to lead, and the man that cannot accept that, then what happens?
Well, there's going to be division, there's going to be opposition and government, and you see what happens when there's, so you need tear gas in that family, you need all these other things, mobile prisons, and that's what happens. But again, we are saying, how do we get to a place of making decisions? It's not me against my husband. It's me with my husband, we are making progress. It's not me against my children. It's me and the children, we are making progress. And we must do that. Don't hurry to get there, because we have, again, different leadership styles. We have different character traits. There are some people who say, I am fast, but they will crash in Mulago before they go any further. They also seem to be slow, and definitely they are slow. But true leadership challenges us to be able to make decisions at the right time and to get the right resources towards that decision. So if your wife is more knowledgeable, it's not wrong for her to say, okay, my husband, let's make a decision in this. You've sat down, you've agreed, and it's okay.
Can you have a head and a leader in the same family unit?
Yeah, you can.
So the woman can be head and the man can be the leader?
I think it's usually the man is the head, because we said it's a function, and the wife can be the leader. So, and again, the leadership and headship is not about power.
Because that's where the real problem is.
Yes. No, we're not talking about who has the power. And again, the moment you are fighting for power, there's a bigger problem than who is the head. That's when you start jumping over fences to establish your headship or your leadership. And
there are comments for you here, Pastor. Ken Jemba is saying, I love Pastor Joshua. Ntinda days.
That's in the past.
Ntinda days, and he says, this is a very good show. Many of us just start families without understanding it. So those are the comments coming. And then what happens when a man flees his home? Because the woman is lead investigator and the man is the head.
Well, what happens, of course, leadership usually does not provide for a vacuum. Either the woman will take over leadership, the government, and or the children, or whatever. So, but why should a man be fleeing? Why should a man be fleeing? That
many reasons. I work with men. There are many reasons why men flee.
We should not be fleeing. Again, it's a power thing.
Exactly.
But also, behind that fleeing, sometimes we've not dealt with the things that we need to deal with. All right?
The
man wants to come back home anytime. Don't call me. Don't ask me where have you been, because I am the man. No, leaders must be accountable. Give accountability, and you don't want to do things that will bring harm and bring disrepute to you and to your family. So resolve your problems. Fleeing does not resolve the problem.
Absolutely.
All right, fighting your wife does not resolve the problem, and disowning her and divorcing her does not solve the family problem.
Even beating her up solves nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you raise an important point of power. Men and power. One of the reasons men flee is because they're not used to be second.
Okay.
They're not raised to be second.
Yes.
Now, when they see that the woman is an active leader, because also in leaders we have differences.
Yes.
When the woman is an active leader, because the man is not used, is not trained, has not been groomed to be second.
Yes.
That is one of the reasons they flee.
Yes.
Because they want to assume, and they assume they're entitled to power.
Yeah. But let me give an illustration here that I think will help us, because we get challenges, or we get challenged power-wise every day in different places, and some we've accepted and we've not allowed them to disturb us. Just like if you're driving on the road, which many men like to drive, there are those who challenge you by virtue of the size of the car they drive. All right. Sometimes you are on the highway and your car has reached its limit, but your neighbor's car
is just starting.
Is just all right. There's a place where say, you will, I will give them way to, so that they fly to where they're supposed to fly. But I must keep mine in control. So traffic jam, sometimes you say, okay, which is the best way to take? You press through. You are challenged to make a decision. So if you have the awesome privilege of having a powerful wife, sharp, brain-wise, powerful, money-wise, eloquent, talks, and unfortunately, by the way, it's God who has mixed us up. Usually, silent men have loud women, and loud men have silent women. I don't know, but maybe God was trying to bring a balance in families. We are different. So you want to ask yourself, how does the character of my wife challenge me to go higher? To be better and faster in making my decisions. At least to me, that's what I resolve to do, okay? If I'm finding a challenge, I'm not looking for escape, but how does that propel me? That's why I even tell men,
positive energy.
Yes. If your wife is not satisfied by quick explanations, prepare a memo, all right? Write out your defense, all right? Because when we are going to the bank to ask for money, we write proposals. So when it comes to asking for family finances, and usually it's a lot of money, why isn't there a written proposal? Because you are not quick, like your wife in explaining. No, learn, say, wife, here is my presentation, and let's talk it through. So don't allow the pressure from your wife to evict you. Let the pressure from your wife elevate you.
It is something that men need to be taught to understand, because the way they are raised, they are not taught that. So it's a continuous and conscious effort to try and educate the men to understand, how do I react where my wife, my spouse, my living partner is much better than me in some aspects? Do I resort to an inferiority complex and begin fighting back, or I turn that, like you say, in a positive way and try to see, how do I make myself better and learn from my partner and be much better? So we are discussing now, Pastor. From the discussion, it points to the fact that leading a family has greater advantages. But now, if I am heading a family, how do I move from heading it to leading it?
So one of the things you've said, let's learn. And I think the reason, like the way Sunday explained the family, he said the proper family has grandfathers, fathers, then children. All right? I should say grandfather, grandmother, grandfather, mother. we have people that we can learn to. And unfortunately, sometimes we fear to ask for counsel because we think when you're asking for counsel, you failed. But yet I think there's safety in counsel. We read books, we watch movies, all right, which are not Nigerian movies because those only enhance witchcraft, but I'm sure there's also great Nigerian movies. Okay. We talk to our peers, and we do, we sit down and learn from others and say, okay, and also learning to listen. Listen. It's not that you should always be the one talking. Listen. Listen to your children. Listen to your wife. Listen to your peers. Listen to your elders. All right. Listen to wholesome content. So I think that will help. Right now we have the advantage of WhatsApp and the rest. How I wish we could be intentional in what messages we get. Because unfortunately, many men unfortunately only go out for pornography. And pornography does not make your life better. It destroys you. What we have on WhatsApp unfortunately sometimes is rumor talk here and there. Did the doctor get a proper vaccine or whichever? But let's ask ourselves, what have I learned? How do I affirm my wife? How do I bless her? How do I listen? How do I avoid being thrown into exile? How do I become more accountable? How do I pick conversation with my teenager children? How do I change diapers? Of course, when men begin to do that, I don't know whether you remain with work.
I'll still have work. I'll still have work to continue to model a proper equal relationship. Because men will just have learned. So modeling that relationship to be mutually equal will still be my work. But right now, I have to start to say, you can do this work. Because doing domestic work, and this is something men confuse, I don't know, it's society that has confused it. Doing domestic work is not something that is a burden. Doing domestic work is actually learning a skill. You know, sometimes I tease people and say, I'm here in the kitchen making love, and say, what? I say, yeah, I'm making love with soap and water and a sponge, cleaning the dishes. And I say, you are foolish. No, but you see, it doesn't take away my manhood. No, but it's in fact is accelerating my involvement in the work. That's why women were saying we want men around, so that their children learn to be responsible. That after eating, you clear the plates. All right. When you are home, you don't look at the television on soaps that do not enhance family bonding.
So do the right thing. I clean my shoes, I put them where they ought to be. We sit and talk. There's this WhatsApp that was going. This child brought a report to his father, and they were poor grades, beating, and so he ended up beating the child. How can you bring me such a report? But the story goes that the child said, you know what, I am sorry, but when mommy was clearing out things, I found this report, and it's your report when you're in P4. What a shame.
And for you have been beating up your own child for poor grades.
Yes, but after even saying, no, for me I never did poorly in school. No, let's talk through our lives. That when I was growing up, I lived in a home which was all stars. All right, you sit in the night and you see many stars. People want to go to 5-star hotels. May grow up in a home with many stars. You see them live.
100-star home.
And never allow it to rain at night. Because if it rains at night, you must bring a basin, put over your, your head. But those stories help our children to be better. And also they remind us, because some of us now, guys, we drive 4-wheel drives and the rest. We've made lots of money, all right? We are powerful. People bow down as we go past. But friends, that's not where we were. And thank God we've reached there. Yet, unfortunately also, through tax changes, we could go back to where we came from. But develop that inner you that has a capacity. Whether you've lost it, you can rebuild. Let's not fight over things.
Yeah.
Let's not fight over power.
Also, in addition, to move from head of a family to leader of a family will take a lot of consultation. You said listening and working together, consultation. This notion that men are decision makers is trouble. Is trouble for men, because they tend not to consult, because they think they have the power and the authority to make the decisions.
But you see, decision making is not necessarily just making any decision.
Exactly. People don't understand, how do I make decisions? That is
the right decision.
Exactly. How do I make right decision? It's through consultation. So we need to, if you're just a head of a household and you want to understand, how do I become a head who leads, if I can use the acronym, how do I become a head who leads my family? Then you really have to factor in consultation, you have to factor in listening to people, you have to factor in making sure that everybody is comfortable with the decision that is about to be made.
You know, you also challenging me to say this. First of all, keep tuning into family whatever program that you're on right now. But also, one of the things I want us to start doing, and I know some of you guys are doing so well, and we want you to take that wellness and have the courage to go to Joshua and say, you know what, here is an area you can shine, and be their coach, be a mentor, help a young man, even an old man, say, you know what, you don't have to go into exile, but you can change the atmosphere in your home by doing A, B, C, and D. Telling your story, and this is how I changed my story, and that will help you. So every man needs to connect to another man who is flourishing. But every man, where you are, you need to take hold of another man and say, guy, you're a fellow man. Let's not go down the ditch. Let's move on.
I just saw a story that came out last week. It was in the Monitor newspaper. And the title was really sad. And I did tweet that and said, it's a sad day for Uganda. 200 fathers make their daughters pregnant. That story for me was real sadness. So we need to, the positive men out there, like Pastor is saying, we need to pick on another man and try to model them into acceptable men. Because some of us men do things that are unacceptable. And you just can't be called a man. Sometimes I feel ashamed to be a man because of what other people who are like me in terms of sex are doing. It becomes very ashamed that somebody is doing something and you are in the same group as that person. So we need to pick ourselves up. We need to increase the level of talking things that benefit us to become better fathers, things that make us better men, things that make us better husbands. Because also the concept of being a husband is quite misunderstood by many people. So this is out there for you. As we wind up this show today, we are saying that consult, listen, and that will make you a leader in your family. Leaders make sure that everybody is participating and everybody is comfortable with what is going on. That's how people have ownership for the decisions that are made and can defend you to the last nail. Yes, Pastor. Your parting shots?
Well, we said that families need to have clear headship. The head needs to function and give great leadership, and their qualities of great leaders, their principles of leadership that need to be practiced, not just for the banking institution and whatever places. They must be practiced at home. Like I said, family is both organic and organizational. So we must pay attention to the organizational needs of our families. And my last word is to fellow men. Guys, let us learn to be vulnerable. Let us allow ourselves to say, what you don't know, you don't know. I know Kapo says, what you know, you know. All right? Yes, what you know, you need to know, but what you don't know,
you don't know.
You don't know, but aspire to learn. And sometimes the teacher, the best teacher that you have is your immediate family, your children, your wife, and your in-laws also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. As we end this show today, a big shout out to the women who are wonderful leaders.
Yes.
Women, I always say women have always been wonderful leaders in the family. And people say, I'm trying to bring down men.
Yeah.
But when you go through the concept of leadership, women have actually been wonderful leaders.
Yeah.
So a lot of men need to learn how to be heads who lead.
Yes.
Okay? Because we're still dealing with this issue of men are the heads of the family.
Yes.
Okay? So how do we work within that and transform this headship?
Yeah.
How do we transform the headship and then we get heads who lead? That way we're building stronger families. That way we're building strong family value systems that will turn around this world from a low-income country,
whatever that is.
Magufuli made Tanzania middle income.
Middle income.
Yes.
We are so grateful for that. But again, even in the USA, who are first world, you still find guys who are more broke than Ugandans.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
They don't have access to jackfruit. They don't have access to pawpaws. They don't have access to sugar cane. So sometimes ask who is the poor one. Ask who have sugar cane and jackfruit, or the ones who have to buy pills that they call sugar. I don't know, but you are the man with more knowledge.
Comparative advantage. Thank you very much. It's been me, Hassan Sekajolo, and Pastor Joshua Mugabe. We have been discussing the difference between leading and heading a family. And the discussion, winding up the discussion, we are saying that we need heads who lead. We need heads who lead. It's incumbent upon you, like Pastor has said, to learn leadership values, to learn what leadership is all about, such that as the head of a family, you are a leader. And thanks to all those women who have provided leadership in the families for many, many years, but the men have not noticed that the leadership is actually coming from the women. So for us as men, we need to learn to be heads who lead. And when we do that, we're moving towards mutually beneficial family relationships and building stronger family value systems. Until next week, we'll be back here with yet another topic about family issues. Me, myself, Hassan, Pastor Joshua Mugabe, and Eddie, who is out there on a family mission. Yep. Sometimes you need time out.
Not sometimes. Regularly.
Eddie said
every month.
He learned from the show last week.
Okay.
Love needs to be celebrated.
Yes.
That is why he went.
Very good.
That is why he went off after last week's show that looked at love needs to be celebrated and love demands to be celebrated. So Eddie is celebrating. We'll see you next week.
It's a CEO bench, so usually people want to assume that all CEOs are over-learned and stuff like that. So I will change the script this time around. I consider myself a certified hustler.
If I'm looking to know who you are you Ugandan? If yes, what are the values that define you as Ugandan?
That's the easiest question, I think, to answer. I am a typical Lao man from Erute North, in a place called Ogur, and where I will be laid to rest is in a village called Agweng. So if you go there and you just say Otoa Tony, they won't really know me because my father is also Otoa Tony. You have to ask for Junior, and when you're asking, you have to ask with an accent. Junior Tikwene, where is Junior? And they will identify me. But I'm typically Ugandan, only Ugandan, from Lira. I pride myself from being from Lira. Earlier on, I was joking and saying I'm the coolest Lago south of Karuma. When you cross Karuma, there are so many. But when you're down the south after Karuma, I think I'm number one.
Wow. Well, now that you know Tonyo Toa is Ugandan, and of course, what are the values that define you as a Ugandan?
I think it's the love for country, love for nation. You know, truth be told, the country is in a lot of, it's a crisis. Leadership crisis, economic crisis, social crisis. There's so many mismatching areas. But at the end of the day, it's home. You know, you cannot run and abandon your home because of the issues in your home. I think that then creates an opportunity for you to do something to change what's happening and what you see as a crisis. So in terms of what I see as a value, or what I take out of that for me, I think is just the love for country, the need to serve country the best way I can. And I mean, I can't say I can change everything, but the little I can do to create a difference, I think is more meaningful.
Wow. Mr. Tonyo Toa, growing up, what did you want to be in life? And what was the journey like for Mr. Toa?
Yeah, you know, my father is crazy. My father would call us and he would show me the compass. The idea was supposed to be a pilot. You know, the planes would fly over our house and my father would be like, yeah, you're going to be a pilot. But of course, as you grow, you realize that you have so many things that really define you. I was never a sportsman. So I enjoyed a lot of debate and, you know, a lot of indoor activities. And that is, I think, what really drove me into some of the things that I do up to today. Public speaking, the love for debates and really a lot of intellectual discourse and all this stuff. But besides that, I think it's also the fact that I won't lie. I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Hi, my name is Chala.
Red Rat from Borderman. So this is your boy Salvador, the only Westerner from West 9.
Susan Caronan. Donna Michelle coming all the way from Canada.
Road Freddy Sebata. Kaskazozi, and here at the Baimba. Baimba. Concert 2011. And you're glued to Double XL.
Double XL.
To Double XL.
XXL.
XXL.
XXL. XXL. Season 2.
Era Wendy, Atenchari Wonyo. Booyah! Well, you're glued to Double XL Season 2, of course, proudly powered by Uganda Telecom. Is all about you. It's the Glass House right here at the Baimba concert. And with me, Borderman and so Malawi. What's your take on the Baimba concert 2011? Vibes are good.
Welcome back. This is the Creative Industry Talk, and in the studio right here in Kampala, live on Facebook and live on YouTube and live on Twitter, wherever you are. Faizo Chiwewa, the founder of Baimba International Festival, is in the studio and sharing with us his heart and of course how we can get our art industry really better going forward. And we're just starting the conversation. Faizo will be coming back here every single week for the next couple of days in a series of discussion on how we can get back the creative industry back to its feet and back to business. And if you have ideas, please share it with Faizo. Faizo, before we went for a break, you had given us a very good analogy on the attitude and perception. I want you to share with us a little bit quickly about what are you doing right now to put us back?
Yeah. As COVID has given us an opportunity to think through what we are doing, and I think everyone has done that, families and all creatives. There's been a lot of content being created, and even as for Buyimba, we realized that, okay, we were very much vibrant because of the festivals now that we can't have, but we are also very concerned about the sustainability of the industry, as well as our relevancy with within the sector and to the artists that we serve. It has been our concern. That's why we try to support them with food and all that stuff. But also we say that we shouldn't stop there. So we've been working on a number of initiatives that we have been creating, and one of them we are going to launch it very soon. It's called an UMVA platform. This UMVA platform is like an eBay that we've been setting up. It's been a 6 months work of setting up this system, and it's going to be just selling art online, visual art. We've started with visual arts and paintings, and the reason why we started with visual arts is because we are testing this version 1.0 is going to focus on that. Then we'll add on other things like refurbished instruments, if you want to sell your old guitar, if you want to sell your strings, so things like that. But it's almost like 85% done. And within that platform, there is also a crowdfunding platform. Okay. So people who have projects, now that we are coming out of COVID, you want to record an album, you want to write a play, you want to put a production, you don't have capital, you need 5 million, 10 million, you can raise it amongst your people. Okay. Most of the crowdfunding platforms are American, Europe based. Yes. Yeah, so you need to have at least contact or an account there. But now we've developed one where you can even send money by mobile. Wow. So I can contribute locally here. Wow. And that's something that we have really put in. So we know when people come back to work, they will need to finance their work. Yeah. And that will help them to do what? To kickstart working with their people. So that platform will be launched very soon. And then we also thought about distribution. Yeah. Of course, digital distribution is a big issue. Yeah. Of course, some of the artists who have established have put their work on YouTube, iTunes, and stuff like that. But they don't earn from their distribution collections. Yeah. So we've partnered with Sony and Orchard, and we are testing. I think by the end of this month will be done. Mm-hmm. We'll start helping artists to distribute their music and collecting that money and giving it to them directly. Okay. So this is also where we think it can help so that people don't lose. I know so many artists, of course the popular ones are okay, they know what to do, but you know, the Kadongo Kamu artists, those who have, you know, they don't know how to deal with this technology, and they keep losing out a lot of money. So we want to target those folks. Okay. And then the other thing is, of course, the most brilliant long-term project is the Buyimba Center, which we have finished almost the master plan for it. Yeah. And we are trying to see what we can start to do slowly by inviting artists in residence to come and create work without, you can come if you need a place to rehearse or work from, you don't need to pay. So we are developing this space for them. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Faisal, our time is fast spent here, but thank you very much. If you're following, that is the reason why this particular program exists, is so that creators and directors and founders and business owners can come here and actually share their heart with us and tell us what they are planning in this, you know, COVID situation going forward. And the Creative Industry Talk is open for everyone. I just want to give you one question very quickly, which came from someone, and we'll close up with the design art, which talked about the posters. You're seeing this on the screen. This is an artist who has put his work out there, and many of them were locked up in a situation where there was no, you know, space for them to, you know, have this kind of work to put out. Musicians are not working, so which means there are no posters going out, no creative communication going out. But I want to give you a question. Somebody, when we went to a break, I have 3 questions for you. One, maybe we can answer them together. Can you ask Eddie Okila, thank you very much for the show. Can you please ask Faisal about what plan does he have, you know, to develop musicians who can go and sell our art out, who will not be trying to be America's wannabes or the Europe wannabes, but actually can go and sell our own like Nigeria is doing. Nigeria has left us. What are you doing as Buyimba and you know, as the organization and many other people in that space to help us, he's basically saying many of our music is about, you know, copycat paste there, and we're not selling our own authentic things. And then the other one says, thank you very much for bringing Faisal into the studio. Eddie, I want you to ask Faisal this question for me. One, we don't have our own sound for music. I'm talking from the music point of view in Uganda. And for a long time, we've been talking about this. Everybody does their own thing. Can we see something coming from Bayimba? Do we have any plan? So that we can have our own sound? He talked about Lord Sebata, he talked about Moses Matovo. These are elders in the industry. Can he bring them together so that we can start talking about the sound of Uganda?
Okay.
Well, this, I guess, this is a much bigger, you know, discussion for you. And the last one saying that the likes of Faisal are really God-given talent to Uganda, and people were thinking ahead of their time. He's too young to be thinking about this. Eddie, thank you for bringing Faisal into the studio, and I really love this program. I hope it can bring out as many people as possible. My question is to Faisal. Can he bring together people like Richard Kawesa, who was thinking of something, he has participated in some of these things, on the table, so we can talk about the identity of the Ugandan music and the identity of the Ugandan art going out? We don't have it. People take things from us and rebrand it and sell it. Ugandan artists are not very good at putting and branding their product going out. I think this launches us to the creative design that we talk about. But first, answer them.
Yeah, I think quickly developing, putting our music out there. One of the challenges that we face is that our artists have not mastered the craft of distributing their music. Yeah. It's the most important thing. I've never been to Davido or whoever's concert, but I listen to the music because it's everywhere on YouTube. It's everywhere on iTunes. Recently, during COVID, I make playlists and I share with my friends. And then I was looking for Jose Chameleon's Essential.
Nowhere to be found.
I could not. I was surprised. I was like, on iTunes, Jose Chameleon is a legend, but he has no essentials on iTunes. Do you know how much money is losing out?
I know.
You know, so this is the problem. So people need to know that you have to have your marketing playbook. Yeah. Where can I get money? Not only on live shows, not only on clubs, but also where are other distribution channels that I can tap into, put my work there. Most people are always worried they are going to steal my song. They're going to steal. Yes, recently, under this new distribution partnership we have with Orchard and Sony, we put Sandra Subi's song, I think 4 days ago. Yes. I just got an update. It just got 4,000 streams.
Wow, Sandra Subi right
in one
gospel artist.
In a few days. Yeah. So I'm like, and she was all over the moon. Her manager was telling me like, this is amazing. Yeah. So how do people get to know our music? By putting it out there. It cannot. We are not going to develop a sound for Uganda. That is not a conversation we can even start having. It will never be. There will be no sound. There is no sound that is Nigerian. There is no sound that is no. Those artists come up with good music and they follow their rhythm. There are so many musicians in Nigeria who are great, but they don't all do Afrobeat. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that Afrobeat is Nigerian. No, it's a sound that someone defined and came up with. So we can't. I don't think it's possible for someone to create a sound for Uganda, because I don't think there is a sound specific. Musicians create work because that's how their process of creativity goes in. But I think we can have that conversation another time and think around the processes. But also the other thing is that we as Bayimba, we are presenters. We don't create content. So I cannot tell artists what to do. I can advise, I can speak with them, but I cannot tell them what to do because it's not my line of work. My work is like, the art is good, we're going to present it. Or we can commission something. But we are not, we are not people who go to the studio and start directing, put that rhythm, put that song. No. I think it's also the importance of understanding our line of work and the work of artists, because when we start that, then we are encroaching onto the creative process of the artist. I love music from here. I think it can also go beyond. It's just not distributed enough. We just don't know how to put it out there. And if we start thinking, and given the idea that COVID has shown us that we need to be out there to compete with others, to level with the rest of the world, we'll start seeing some of Ugandan artists known.
All right. Faisal, our time is fast spent and we're coming to the last minute of the show. I want to ask you a question about the identity. Design identity for Uganda, somebody has already asked the question here, does not stand out. Identity is more or less what the persons, the first two questions they're asking about. But also, another question here from somebody talking about, he said the visual art sector of the art industry itself has suffered. The people who designed, you know, creative communication, like the poster that we have here. And he's saying, do you have space for such people to express themselves and to come out? Because he's saying they are not usually quite very good. They get locked up in their own things, and sometimes it's very hard to spot them out. He's talking about the advertising industry in Uganda doesn't very much quite appreciate many of them. If they got into the art, into the art, what do you call the creative industry company, they get locked up there. The art.
I think
what do you have for them?
I'm not sure what I have for them, but I think there is a lot of opportunities for artists, whether it doesn't matter what you do in this country. When I look at creative designers, and I'm like, do you know how many schools that don't have illustrated books? If you can just put your mind and say, okay, I'm going to illustrate the story of Chintu or Nambi or whatever, of course those small narratives are there, but there is so much you can do. You can even just do the day-to-day life and just publish a book. You don't need to go to wait for Coca-Cola to give you one advert a year, you know. You can think and say, again, we go back to the roadmap. Where do you want to go? Of course, the genre, the discipline you studied is great, but you're not going to only look up for billboards to design. You can also look at other things. Education needs a lot of work here. It needs a lot of material. So creative designers, I think it's really important that you also look at elsewhere. You know, I think you cannot just only survive on companies because they don't have money anymore and they're not advertising. Advertising for who? You know, people are not going to concerts, music shows are not happening. So let's try to look at other avenues. But I think as we are going to be continuing with this conversation, maybe we can dig deep a little bit more with time and see what opportunities we can talk about. But for now, for those who are doing creative work like this, we have a platform that we are setting up, as I said earlier. If you go to umvacreatives.com, you can see that it's starting to build up. There's already work that is there. We have not yet opened up for sale, but once we are going to open up in April, it will be able for someone to buy your work, rent it, and you know, whatever it would be. So that's what we are trying to do to help those that are not able to find market now during this lockdown time.
Wow. Well, you've had it from Faisal right there as his final word. Any parting shot today? What would be your one word wisdom?
It was really great to come here. I enjoyed the coffee and the studio space. It's amazing. Thanks so much.
All right, and to the young artists out there who listen to you today and doesn't know what to do and want to start now with what you have said, what should they do? I
don't know, because you know, I get a lot of emails and like, I'm an artist, I sang a song 20 years ago. What I think, I don't know, because there's a lot of things that one needs. I think one of the things I realized that now, because having this Baimba Academy, I realized that sometimes artists don't know what they need, you know, and they keep forgetting that singing is not the only thing. You know, you can be a good singer, but it's also good to learn how to analyze, to produce, to play instruments, to know how rhythms work, to write. So if you're a good singer or musician or whatever, try also to, you know, encourage yourself to learn other things. That even marketing, you know, just learning how to market, so that when you have a manager, he's not going to tell you everything what to do. Maybe it's not good, and we don't have very many managers here. So you can teach yourself some new things, new skills. It kind of helps to advance on your career.
Wow. Thank you very much, Faisal, for coming to the show.
Thank you.
And any of your 20-year song you would want to sing?
No.
Come on, Faisal.
That will never happen.
All right. Faisal, thank you very much for coming to the show. But we will make sure that Faisal sing at least sometime when he comes back to the show. And Faisal will be coming back to talk to us about Dodoa. And there are some great plans we learned that Faisal has coming up and the team at Dodoa. So I think take Faisal's advice to heart and make sure you put it to use, and you will never regret. This has been the Creative Industry Talk. Until next week on Tuesday, we hope to have Faisal back in the studio. Until then, God bless and have a good week ahead of you. Goodbye from Asia Edio Killer, Faizo Siwewa, Bayemba Festival. Until next week.
My name is David Okwi, and I'm the shop manager here at Oduka. Our vision is really to bring technology closer to the people, closer to you, tech that you can afford, tech that lasts, tech that is durable, and tech that you can use to simplify your life. My inspiration behind starting Oduka came from the fact that I've been blogging or writing about tech for the past 10 years, but the stuff that I've been writing about has not been locally available in the market. So what we did is, let's bring this technology to the people. So we really had to start a store, an actual store that you can order today and then have the product delivered to you tomorrow. So currently we launched with mobile accessories. Think a car phone charger, car phone mount, iPhone charger, micro USB, Type-C, charging accessories like this power extension here with 4 ports that you can use to charge your phone, as well as the other ports for appliances. We test our products and make sure that they're up to standard. We vet our suppliers. We don't just get any supplier. Other than the fact that COVID-19 has forced you to sell online, there are very many advantages why you should do that. One of the advantages is the convenience that you're bringing to your customers. 2 is that you have a wide market that expands beyond your working clients. We intend to grow, to bring more tech, to bring tech to the everyday user out there, and to bring really good tech. In order to do that, we intend to scale our product categories and to also cement our position as a leader in electronic products.
Masters of creativity in Uganda, going across the world, the one and only Albert Opio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We're not coming.
No, we're doing from far.
We're doing from far. You guys have taken this thing to another
You keep your
level.
COVID, I keep mine. Keep your variant.
Oh my goodness. Well, and Albert, welcome to the program. We are really happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
And I always tell people that when you want to see the masters of creativity, you need to come to Uganda. I believe that Uganda has some of the best talent across the world. We are just not perhaps taking advantage of, selling ourselves across the world very well. The brand that you are sitting on today, you started the journey with this brand a few years ago. I even don't know whether you remember those late nights.
But the logo now is better.
Yes.
The one who succeeded me did a better job.
No, yeah. It was built out of your creativity.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you very much for making sure that everything that we have here is really running. And I want to take opportunity to welcome all of you guys all across the world to their Creative Industry Talk. We will be bringing in Stella Tal all the way in France, and of course Faizo Chiwewa, who is on the way. Stella, welcome to the program. How are you doing? How is Paris? Bonjour, ça va bien?
Bonjour à tous. I'm happy to be morning. Paris is good.
Chantal, I know that she's a distance away from Uganda. We know she's definitely going to settle. We are expecting Patricia Cahill from the Cahill Insights joining us on this conversation. And we want to start the show straight away. But I'll start by giving you a recap of what the program is about. And this particular discussion today is very key, going forward as far as creative industry in Uganda is concerned. We are looking at the UG creative sector. We're calling it the UG creative sector and the challenges and the opportunity that lies in there. But Mr. Pio, the creative sector is one of the fastest growing parts of Uganda's economy. Over the years, and as a result, it offers very great opportunities to local business entrepreneurs or business people, as well as beyond, but particularly we're looking at the film industry, the TV industry, the sports, the games, as well as the digital marketing. But of course, not forgetting the advertising side where you started your career from and still is. And a lot of people don't understand that with today's digital technologies, UG creative or creative industry needs to take opportunity to actually be easily connecting to a wider market, because now the technology has taken us to what they call the village, the global village. Find new distribution channels, as well as identify the global demand for creative products and services out of Uganda. We're looking at the network and collaborations with other creative businesses and sectors across the world. Now, the challenges for the creative businesses in Uganda are quite many, and also the benefits are quite immense. We're looking at the situation that surround these three things we've talked about: connect to the wider market, find the new distribution channels, and identify the global demand for creative products and services, and networking and collaborations. Mr. Pio, before we dive deep into this discussion, we would like to know, who is Herbert of Pio in a nutshell?
Herbert is jack of all trades now. I was purely an artist before, because that's from training, from university. But I don't think the market was ready to purchase art, because the economy at that time, I left university in 99. So the economy was just trying to recover. So imagine from 66, 72, 79, there was up to 85. So by 86, there were still wars actually in many parts of the country. So most people are basically on survival mode. If I can get food, shelter, clothing, maybe education for children, that was key. Purchase of art was not a necessity, because you need to have a certain peace of mind to be able to move away from the basics of life and say, I want to buy that song. I want to buy fashion. I want to buy a painting for my house. I want to change the design of my house to look interesting, so I need to find an architect. You have to have a certain peace of mind. And I think we have transitioned from survival mode, where we're paying for basics. Of course, now COVID is taking us backwards to survival mode, but we had reached the point where now we are purchasing art. But if I look at it from a creative perspective, when the colonialist left, he was replacing, whichever Muzungu left, they were replacing it with the Ugandan. So they were replacing doctors, they were replacing teachers, there were certain jobs that were being looked for at that time to replace. Art was at the very bottom, or anything creative was at the very bottom of the sphere. They did not need architects at that time per se. They needed draftsmen, they needed teachers, so those are the things that were required. So all our parents, if you check, were either teachers or nurses or doctors, or those are the things that were required at that time. But how many years have passed now? Now the creative space has opened up. We have architecture, you've got fashion that is coming up, you've got music, you've got the art scene, you've got comedy, you've got a creative industry called advertising, there's a lot happening, meaning that the commercial sector has opened up, and the commercial side is that asks for these things. Now, the pure artists like us who began painting, drawing, things have moved very fast. Because as we were drawing and painting, something called photography came to the scene. So the time it takes you to draw and paint, click.
And the image is out.
I'll tell you a simple story.
Yeah.
When we're going to bring it to digital as well, when photography comes and then digital comes in to disrupt the creative space. Clinton, I think it was Clinton or Bush. Who came first? Bush or Clinton?
Clinton.
Who went to the Entebbe airport and did not leave, and then I think it was Clinton or Bush?
Clinton.
Yes. So New Vision monitor, accredited journalists, was sent to, you take your camera to State House, they open it, they check that there's nothing, the next day you pick it up. So guys took pictures of course, the Americans and the other international Reuters and who AFP were ahead. So our guy is behind, trying to take a picture. Because that guy in front is going to take a better picture than you.
Yes.
So they take the picture, and then with all the security levels, they have to get into a car and drive to New Vision and go to the dark room and process film, take it to the photo editor, who looks at all the 30 or 50 images on the strips, and then says number 14, number 17, and then now that's what the guys in the dark room expose, and then that's when. So by the time he leaves Entebbe to the picture coming out, that's about 3 to 4 hours.
Yes.
Reuters, AFP took the pictures, uploaded. They had satellite technology, uploaded it on the cloud. But New Vision subscribes to Reuters, so in 20 minutes from the time the pictures uploaded, New Vision had it, and they were running the advert. Our poor chap came running, was still at a writer babidi. So the industry has really changed a lot. So the traditional artist, the guy drawing and painting, is struggling.
Yeah.
The traditional photographer is struggling right now, because now everybody has become a photographer. Phones have become fantastic. Cameras on the phones have become really, really good, that everybody can become a photographer.
Yeah.
We're in the advent of social media, so everybody can take a picture and upload. Those days, you had to take your picture, go to New Vision or your media house, your editor looks at it, and it runs, and then you're paid according to the size of the photo, and that's how you earn money. But if everybody is uploading things as they're happening now, and social media is now a media space, now you find that traditional media like print is struggling. So the guys who are taking photographs or doing things for print media have to reinvent themselves. Brings me to where I am right now.
Yes.
I am currently a fossil in terms of creative skills. Because creativity now is young people.
Yes.
Guys who are 15, 18, 22, 25. So that's where the creative juices are coming along. And the young people today are lucky that their parents are open-minded about what they can actually study.
Yeah.
So you really don't have to go to university anymore. It was not a must that you have to go to university. Now you can actually learn a lot of things online, and you can be able to, you can learn Photoshop, you can learn how to use Lightroom, you can download these things online, you can use your tab as basically there's so many tools now for the creative space. So now everybody can be creative, which is a good thing and a bad thing. The people like me who have gray hair, we're in trouble. But the young guys, it's opening up so much. COVID has actually helped to make us disappear. We need to go and start farming. If we're not willing to learn new ways of doing creativity, we better go and do farming.
Hold it right there, Abatopio. I told you this man is a wise man from the East. We're going to take a break, and the Creative Industry Talk will be joined by Patricia Kyle and, of course, Stella Tal in France, and Mr. Faizo Chiwewa, who is somewhere in some airport traveling. And we're going to try and make sure that we have everyone on the show today. Stay right there. I'll be right back after the break. This is the Creative Industry Talk.
An army of sheep led by a lion will beat an army of lions led by a sheep. That's a pay. Yeah. So let's be very honest about this thing, and really understand that you need to understand where you lie and where you fall. So it's very important for us to understand that leadership has to be definitive. You can't be laissez-faire. It has to be definitive. You have to be strong, just like a lion. You know, when a lion meets an elephant or a buffalo or whatever, the buffalo and all these animals run away. And yet, by the way, they are stronger than the lion. They are heavier than the lion. They are more intelligent than the lion. They are taller than the lion. They run away. The lion, because of its attitude, it sees lunch. That is a leader.
Mr. Teretra, thank you very much for coming to the CEO bench. And I want to ask you, so if you were elected the President of the Republic of Uganda today, what would be your first State of Nation address? Now, as you look into the camera and close the show.
I think my first State of the Nation address would first of all to... I think I'll just close it down.
When you start a project, definitely, if it's a good idea, it has gone through the development process, then you start what we call in fundraising as an institution or even an individual who has a creative project. There is what they call fundraising, and that is if it's a public good, it's a common activity. If it's a business, that's a different thing. So when you're doing a business, creative business project, you're not asking for funding, you're asking for investment. People just get turned off by just being asked. You know, you just come and say, "Why do you give me money?" I'm like, "Who are you?" You know,
why should I give you?
Why should I?
What is it?
How do I get them to know that I exist? You're not asking yet, but you're just trying to check to test the waters and see how whether it's possible. I've met Faisal. I know Eddie. I can. We've had a conversation. I trust what he's going to do. Yeah. So that trust is built within that asking. Honestly, the money is there. There's a lot of money, and those who know how to find it, they always find it. But then you find others saying, "Oh, that one is taking our money." Yet you didn't make an effort to find it. We have sleepless nights. I wake up at 2 a.m. to write applications, proposals. I try to balance my office daytime and my fundraising time and all the other things. So you really have to make an effort. The US has just put out a call. The State Department has just put out a call for support for a collaborative grant between the US and Uganda. It's for institutions, it's for individuals, for practitioners that are interested in exchanging ideas and knowledge between US and Uganda specifically. And it's quite between $5,000 to $50,000. So it's available. I talked about earlier about the SCP fund, which was introduced already here in Uganda before COVID, I think. And finally, we got British Council and HEVA managing this fund for East Africa. So the call is almost out. I think they'll put it out in May or June. And when that call comes out, you can apply for like 180,000 euros for 3 years, that you can do whatever you want to do. It's both institutional and for individual projects.
Please share it far and wide. We are live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. And this information will always remain there. You can watch the show anytime. You can share it far and wide. And Faisal will be back here next week. We'll be talking about investment into the creative industry and how we can go about it and who needs what, where, when, how. We'll be talking about it next week. Until next week, Eddie Okila, Faisal Chiwewa, the founder and the CEO of Baila Foundation, we're signing out on the Creative Talk. Welcome back to the program. My name is Eddie Okila and this is the Creative Industry Talk. And of course, from the central part of the region of Uganda, Muganda, small but very dangerous, and of course silent but very dangerous. We often call her Sabada, silent but Very dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming Patricia Kyle to the Creative Industry. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Abato Pio says you keep your corona there, I keep mine here so that we don't mix.
I can put back my mask.
No mask on the show, because then you're going to reinfect your lungs more and more while you talk.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you guys.
Yeah.
One minute.
We'll be looking away.
Yes. And of course, we are going to look into Stella Tal all the way in France. Stella, how are you doing?
She can't.
Stella, are you able to pick? There is an internet problem in France today. Stella, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. So, Stella, I want to take you straight to the question I asked about Opio. Growing up as a creative person, who is Stella Atal? And of course, as a local, creative mind, fashion designer, visual artist, yes. Can you tell us who is Stella? Like you've heard from Abatopio, that journey of, coming out of the university, and then he feels like the technology is edging him out. New people are coming, but he's fit and he's ready to go on. The young people are energetic enough. Opio is still energetic. How about Stella Tal?
Stella Tal, like I always say, she's a fashion designer and a visual artist. I may not say so much about my growing up because there is a lot that I've faced as a creative after I grew up than I faced when I was growing up. When I was growing up, everything depended on what my parents wanted me to be like. But then when I grew up, I saw that what my parents wanted me to be like, it wasn't what I was supposed to be. So you have to pave your way towards what you want to be. And it was really like a tough journey. Like, I didn't hear what Opio said, but being a creative, most of the parents in Africa don't believe in creative children at home. They want you to be like the neighbor's child. They want to be like the relatives. And when you are growing up, if you're not an engineer, you're not a doctor, you're not like a lawyer, then you're nothing to the family. But for me, I knew I was an artist. I had a talent, and coming from a creative family, I knew there is no way you're going to force me to be a doctor. That is not me. So when we got into the industry, actually, I started when I was still in school. I don't know if Opio remembers, I used to work for Cassava Republic. That time I was still in high school. And I worked with Peter Tim for many years. He really nurtured me. He encouraged me. Then from there, I went to Nairobi. I did graphic designing, majoring in printing and packaging. That was the time of us using floppies. If you tell, and the new generation right now, graphic designing we did was about, the floppy drives, and then they force you to do like editing, Photoshop using like those apps that were really, really complicated. But I may say that that really shaped me. And that was for us more of the organic training that we went through, which is not actually available right now. And I have to say, like, I'm privileged to have gone through that because I can talk much about the origin of the creativity that we are practicing right now. And then when we were starting like professionally in Uganda, that was the time when all the technology was coming up. Phones were being introduced. We didn't even know how to use the phones. Emails, we didn't even know what emails. We had to go to, I remember there was a cyber cafe on a Radio 1. And then there was another one, I think it's still there, near Christ the King. And you go there, they have to teach you how to create like an email address, how to use it. And then once in a while, of course, the Western world was already into the system. So they send you emails, and sometimes you take like a whole month without even opening your emails. And slowly we got into that system. And we had friends who had gone into like corporate companies, like banking, communications, and they really helped us to come out because we worked as a team. If Opio was a curator, he made sure that he markets my artwork. If maybe someone else was into communication, like television, they made sure that they put on my clothes when they're anchoring the news. Then the journalists, the writers from all like medias, the newspapers, they made sure like every week they looked for talent to put in their features. And that really helped us to come up. Knowing that we were creative, yes, but then without the support of these people, we wouldn't have made it to where we are right now. And for me personally, the way I really made it, I took advantage of my clients around me. Because yes, I was a great designer, I was a great artist, but then I didn't know the market part, the business part of what I was doing. But then within my circles, I had clients who worked with the banks, and I used to go to them and ask them, how is banking? How does the banking work? What is it? Why is it important in a creative sector? Then I have people from the marketing, the auditors, the accountants. I would go and seek knowledge from them. That is how I've managed to be who I am right now. But the challenge is we are outdated, I think, like what Pio said. If we don't venture into some other creatives, then we cannot compete with a new generation because it is so aggressive. There is access to everything technology-wise, and for us coming from the other Asian background, it's really hard to compete. For me personally, today I have to declare that I gave up working for my brand, that is at Stella, producing clothes and showcasing. Now I'm using my brand to transfer the knowledge that I've gotten all the years I've been working, to transfer that knowledge to the new generation and make sure that they succeed through their businesses like I have done.
For that, a very elaborate, background of how you ended up in creative industry. I think Abatopio was laughing when you talked about parts of the downtown Kampala, Radio 1 around there, teaching you how to type and do things. But first, we need to welcome Patricia Kyle to the show. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Are you keeping well from the trouble of this world?
Yes, I am.
Yes. And how is Kyle Insights?
Kyle Insights is very okay. We are pushing on, flooding with questions. People want to understand how they can now come on the digital platforms, how to use them offline and online, which is interesting. We've been preaching this gospel for years. Finally, to some extent, we have to thank COVID in a way that has opened people's eyes to see that these platforms actually make sense. And recently I met someone I had pitched to when I just started, that is 8 years ago. And I walked in and a guy looked at me and said, this is not going to work. There's no way we're going to start making money off phones. There's no way we're going to use phones as advertising grounds. Young lady, you need to find a real good job. Yeah, today, like what, 6 months ago,
yes.
He sent me an email and it's like, oh, I got your name and you said, please come and help me. So I walked into the office and the guy looks at me and was like, wait.
It is you.
It is you. And I'm like, yeah, I got a real job.
Yes.
It's still the real job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Abatopio. If you dive and pick it up from there, you've heard what Stella has said, and now this that has come from Patricia. What does that sort of like give you a picture of where we are going from where you are, and how do you feel having been there when it was looking like it was never going to be real at all?
Stella has taken us back. So since she has taken us back,
yes, let's start the story.
I want to remember.
Yes,
I called Stella once because a client of ours, Big Fair, wanted to push their cotton fabrics. And we were like, okay, we need to design fabrics out of the cotton, that the fabrics, clothes out of the fabric, and we need a fashion designer.
Yeah.
We have models, yes, but who is going to bring this to life?
Yeah.
That's how I met Stella.
Yes.
Then I was looking for models, and there was a young girl running around the place.
Yes.
It was her.
Yes.
I'm old, just to say that.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that the journey has been long.
Yeah.
I remember the floppy disks. You could save a file on, say, 4 floppies. And a floppy was what, 1.4 MB?
Yes.
But you couldn't go beyond 1.3?
Yes.
Or the floppy would crash.
Yes.
So, so if you had a 5 MB file,
Yes.
which is typical photos on your phone right now.
Yes, yes, yes.
One picture is 5 MB.
Yes.
Then artwork was 5 MB.
Yes.
So you put floppy 1. It loads up to 1.28.
Yes, yes.
Please insert
Yes, yes,
floppy
yes.
number 2.
Yeah.
And then, until you finish. And
Yes,
then
yes.
you have to number them.
Yeah.
Because if you put the wrong one,
Yes.
then you're going to spend an hour
Yes.
trying to figure out
Which one
goes first.
Yes.
It
I
was stress.
remember my first job when I was sent with that thing, and the artwork that came out didn't turn out well. My God, I was almost fired, even killed.
Yes. So then as soon as I left university,
Yeah.
painting, brushes, that was my thing. And then we come out, and then there's a thing called computers. Like, okay, that has changed everything. Because when I was leaving university, they were training the lecturers.
Yes.
So lecturers
On how to use the
on how to use the computer. So when we graduated, we were the last.
Yes.
So the guys were learning. For us, we got out the next year.
Yeah.
That's when computers came. And the computers were like, what, 6? For, I don't know, in the whole art school.
Yeah.
So there had to be some formula on how everybody uses the computer. It was crazy. So I had to go to a cafe, again, internet cafe. Those are the people who had computers.
Yeah.
They were modern.
Yeah.
They had computers, they had the software, so you pay, and then you learn. And then it was a journey of teaching yourself and going through all these processes. But then we had people who were professional photographers, because then they shoot the photos, they bring them to you, you edit the software, you lay out in the software. Even the software we're using Corel Draw, Corel Photo Paint.
Yes.
It changed.
Yes.
I started Photoshop 5.
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So you never went from 1
10.
up, yes.
Then from 10 we went to Creative Suite.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then now we're going to CC.
Yes.
So we were from the old school. You could save a file and it doesn't open because your software either is too old or it's too new.
Thank you.
So my old school self up to now, when I design something, I design it for software 2 generations below. Because I do not know who on NASA Road or which printer, how updated their software is. And that's where I beat the young people.
Wow, that's how
Because when I send a file to the printer,
Yes.
rarely
Yeah.
will I get a phone call.
Wow.
That it cannot open, it cannot do this. And the young people right now have all the tools, they're extremely creative, and there are some things where if I, take photography today.
Yeah.
Then, we had a guy called Gibbons, Mzungu guy.
Yeah.
Would want to take a shoot. Uganda Telecom wants to do a shoot, a thematic campaign. Then the guy's like, when do you want this? When was July? August I'll be on holiday with my family. That'll be 3 weeks. Then after that, maybe we'll do August, September.
About 4 weeks.
So yeah, September I'll be available. You moved your campaign and you start to find other things to do. As you wait for the photographer to come from holiday with his family. Eh?
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
Today, you go to Shutterstock, you go to freepic.com, you go to 123RF,
Yes.
you go to Cobis, which was bought by...
Yes.
You just pick your phone.
You can do that,
Pick your
yes,
phone,
but
yes.
you see,
Yeah.
professional quality photographs
Yeah.
are now $10,
Yeah.
$15, $100. And I pay now, it starts downloading now. So meaning, I can come up with an entire campaign in one night. I go home and sit down, my internet is on. Let me tell you about 2006.
Oh.
I had to go with my floppy
Yes.
to a cafe to look for images, put them on the floppy, run back to the office because we didn't have internet,
Yes.
put it in there and try and use them. They're not working.
Then you go back.
Go back to the cafe, get more photos, and these are low resolution, like 150 KB photos, and then Photoshop would
stretch it.
Just the things, then you blur it such that then you create some artistic thing to it. Like, no, it was
make
artistic.
It look like this is
it
too
wasn't.
artistic.
It was intentional.
Yes.
You're dealing with low resolution photos.
Yes.
Then with the flop, now when Uganda Telecom gave us something called Freenet.
Yes.
So you disconnected the landline.
And then you put
it in the computer.
Yes.
Then actual clicked dial. Then you until it could dial for a minute. I'm like, today it has jumped. Unplug, plug again. Bring maybe your computer. You bring yours.
It tries yours.
Then it connects. Like, it has connected on Eddie's computer. Now you start queuing. Who wants to check his mail? What I'm saying is that where we're coming from, it was really so hard to be in our business. Today, with my phone, I can go to Canva. I can go to Crello. They have templates already. They'll tell you, you want to put it on Facebook? Which part of Facebook? Do you want the cover? Do you want this? Yes. It's already there. You just, I want this one. You got it, which on Twitter? You want Twitter? Twitter. As you just pick one. Do you have your own images, or we give you?
We give you an image.
Do you have fonts? Yes. But we also have ours. So you basically now. The people, I was talking about this, I don't know when, that I'm getting out of this business. No, okay, not getting out, but technology is pushing me out. Unless I learn. So what the industry is going into now, especially with challenges like COVID, is that many businesses are going online. People no longer have shops. People are going, selling children's clothes online. Jumia has actually forced people to think that way. Everybody's putting their things on Jumia. It's becoming like Amazon. Because whatever you have, you just put it online, and this thing, somebody Jumia, right? So things are being disrupted. Now you order for food from Mama Nakas, and it comes on self-border. Before you had to actually go to Seven Chais in one day.
That was near. No, do you remember Mama Kachala down in Katwe?
Yes.
Where you'd go and there would be a section of corporate guys and a section of low-end guys and a section of the corner there. Yes, too loud. Linda go Katwe Sebo.
So things have really changed. If you look at chefs, there's a guy called Balamaga Rogers.
Yes.
He's a lawyer. But he likes cooking. And he posts it on social media. Before, a guy like that one who was passionate about cooking had to open a restaurant.
Thank you.
Meaning, it's a whole new business. He has to pay rent, hire people. He was going to collapse. But now, cook the food, upload.
I want to hold you there, Albert. In fact, this discussion today is very interesting because we want to know the UG creative sector, the challenges and opportunity. You've talked about the challenges and the opportunities. Locally here, are we taking advantage of the opportunities available?
No.
It will take, first of all, the young people, the uptake of technology and changes is high. But somebody has to hold their hand, somebody has to show them. That's where Kahil and her insights, just to give these young people insights on the trends and where things are going.
Yes.
We older people who have the old school way of doing things have to be willing to learn. And if, because of it's now online, meaning I can do work for everyone. But that also means my game has to go up. And there's no excuse today. If I do not know how to use Photoshop, there are videos that will teach me Photoshop. If I do not know how to use Illustrator, there are videos that will teach me step by step until I learn. Basically, almost all software is available. The challenge now is about the creativity. Now, we guys who went to art school were taught certain tenets of design, how to come up with design, like the way photography is, and rule of thirds, don't center. There's certain things about a craft that someone must learn. The software is there, which will help you to do this. But it doesn't have certain, so there has to be a certain process of learning. And the beauty about it even today they're available online. YouTube is the best teacher these days. Everything you literally search for, YouTube will give it to you because somebody else has asked for it.
Yes.
So there's no excuse today. Actually, like me, now I'm in social media
influencing
marketing. I'm not an influencer. People don't know me. don't know me like that.
We know you like that.
Yes, but can I tell you that I have not organized a single tour in my life?
No, you don't organize them. You influence people to organize. You influence people to come to go for them. You influence people to talk about the tours.
So that's where, anyway, the world is going.
Yeah.
And there are certain things you must learn. The tools of the trade, they are already online for free. And then online is the way to go. And there's a guy who he's all over my YouTube feed. Who is that guy? He keeps telling, he's always advertising, some guy from the US. Yeah. I didn't go to school.
Yes.
I didn't go to school.
But I learned
I learned things online. I'm now a millionaire, but buy my thing. I'm a millionaire, but buy my thing. But he says some nice things. He says, 5 years ago, he told everybody social media marketing. I told you, those who listened made money, those who did not. Anyway, if you didn't listen, that was you. He said, now the new thing is buying things online. What's it called? E-commerce.
E-commerce, yes.
Everybody's going to go e-commerce, but there are not many people who can help businesses go e-commerce. So if you are a creative person, number one, you have to be able to design the look and feel of your whatever page it is, whether it is Facebook or whatever, or your website or e-commerce site. You must design it. You must be able to upload things on your site, remove, upload. That means you must have learned some tech.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Photoshop is not enough.
Yes.
Illustrator is not enough.
Yes.
So you must be able to learn how to upload things. Yes. Then you must be able to promote your website. That means you have to do some marketing online.
Yes.
AdWords, AdSense.
You have to be ready to do PR because you need to also.
Exactly.
Yes.
So the creative person, even for music, even for video, if you do your video and you upload it and you look at it every day yourself and like, oh, I'm a good guy. Look at this guy. I'm good. What are you going to do? You're going to die. Now, people are being paid for the number of views that are available online. I follow a football guy, a Manchester United guy. He started with when I joined, he had about 150,000 followers. But he really needed to get to 500,000. Because I think at 500,000 is when some company kicks in. He now has hit 1 million. I think he's not looking back anymore.
Yeah, of course.
He's hit 1 million, and I get annoyed for the number of ads that are running on that channel. But that's how he makes money. So, what is he? He's just a guy who likes Manchester United. And he just talks, hello guys, Manchester United, we're going to buy this player. Oh, it's Solskjaer. No skill whatsoever, but there is YouTube, there is content, there is everything. So he has picked Manchester United as a topic, and he's twice every day, and now he has 1 million views. That guy now is influential. He has become a media personality. Things have changed. So we older people have to learn the new tricks of the trade. I have to enroll to Cahill Insights. Maybe there are things I'm doing wrong.
Yes.
I'm doing by guesswork.
Yes.
You know, I need to go to her and say, show me.
Yes.
Because I am here, but am I okay? Or am I
not doing okay?
Yeah. So she can, because these are now new tools of the trade, which I must learn.
Wow.
So that's where we're in a learning phase. And COVID has made learning necessary now, not yesterday. We must all learn today, or we shall die.
We perish tomorrow. Patricia, I want to dive to you. Patrick, you've heard what Opio has just been saying and what Stella Tal was saying. You come from a slightly younger generation. Let's not get things twisted. And of course, you have an older brain, which means you started at a certain age. But age-wise, you're slightly younger, and we will dive to Stella a little bit after that. But the question I have for you, Patricia, is what opportunities exist for the industry called creativity or creative sector of Uganda? By creative sector, I want to make sure that we break this down to so many people so that people understand. Yes. What we're calling the UG creative industry subsectors, I'm actually looking at, there are various definitions of this sector. Various definitions. However, creative industry includes one, advertising.
Yes.
Opio has already talked about the architect or the architecture.
Yeah.
Yes, the architect is the one who does the stuff. Then the architect is the one who does the stuff. The architecture is the one who is the actual learning of the work, not so?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, because people often confuse that. Crafts, which Opio has talked about, art and craft. Designed and designer fashion, which is Stella Tal. We're going to dive to Stella on that one. And there is digital and entertainment media, which is where we are, you know, getting some of these things and putting it out. When Opio has done something, there's video that needed somehow, there's audio that needed somewhere that needs to get there. And film, video, and photography, publishing of that work. If you have a book, you publish it, you need a designer for it, you need a writer for it. And then the software and electronic publishing is also there. You go to television and radio, which is also here, where we're seated right now. And lastly, you have music and visual and performing arts. Now, Faizo Chiwewa is going to tackle that in a minute. But Patricia, I want to know if there are any opportunities that exist amid this COVID-19 situation we're in